Hello.
It's time to fire your diet. We're just going to wait for a few minutes and allow people to get on. So we're going to listen to a song by Toby Mac, I Just Need You. So enjoy the music while we wait for people to log in.
We'll fill ourselves up with more coffee.
Grab yourself a coffee. Grab yourself some water.
Hi, Betty. Let us know if you're here. Say hello.
Hi, Royleen. We're listening to Toby Mac, giving the opportunity for everyone to log in. We're going to wait for a few minutes and say hello.
And tell us where you're from. Hi, Judy. Hi, Goska.
Hi, Goska.
Hi, Francine. No audio. Oh, dear. Can everybody else hear us? Can you give us a big thumbs up if you can hear us?
Yeah, I'm going to shut that off because we want you to hear us. If you can hear us, give us a thumbs up.
Hi from Tennessee. Hello, Stephanie.
Woohoo, Stephanie. Hi, Connie. So hopefully you can hear us.
I think they probably can because they're telling us where they're from.
That's right.
So hopefully that means you can. Can you just give us a thumbs up, Jane? Good thumbs up. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so someone who couldn't hear us, you might want to log off and re-log in if you can't hear us, and make sure that your computer sound or your volume on your phone is way up so that you can hear us.
Hi, Tammy. Owen Sound, you got a snowy day. We've got sunny today, but it's all our snow's melting.
Hi, Jill from Iowa. Woohoo.
Royaline can hear us.
Betty,
okay.
Hi,
Karen
can hear us. From Arkansas.
Awesome.
Way to go, Betty.
So if we don't say your name when you comment, it's because we are using this Restream, or, oh, you know what, Jane? We actually had to switch back to StreamYard. We had a crazy tech issue going on. So we're back on StreamYard. So
like just an hour before we went live, we had all these tech issues and like, wow. So I know many of you were praying for us because we went and asked for prayer because we want to be able to give you value today. And our tech guy, our son, my son, at Casey's brother, had to come in and we had to go on a new platform.
Save the day. Yeah. But you're here, Jane, so that part's good. So anyway, what I was saying, if you say something and we don't say your name, it's because we can't tell who you are. It shows up like this for us just as a Facebook user. And that's just because, or like here's one from Greensboro, North Carolina. So that just means that we can't see who you are, but we can see your comments. And that's just because StreamYard doesn't have permission to access your Facebook profile. So if you want to go ahead and give Facebook access to that, you can go ahead and do so. The link is in the description of the video, I believe. Otherwise, it's just StreamYard.com.
Otherwise, it's okay. We can see your comments.
Exactly.
We can answer your questions. So we just want to say hi, Terry. Hi.
Yay for the tech guy.
That's right.
Exactly. Hi, Winnie, Connie, Sandra,
Tammy,
Margaret.
Hi. And Margaret, hi. How are you doing, Margaret? We're glad you're here. We're glad you're all here. We're very, very excited to have you ditch your diet today.
Yeah,
wow.
Exactly.
So we're just going to give this a few more minutes. So if you're just logging on now, let us know where you're from because, you know, we have people from all across North America. Usually it's from the West Coast to the East Coast, usually from British Columbia, Canada to Florida, down in the States. So we know it's a big week in the States this week. It's your Thanksgiving coming up. So you might think, why am I talking about ditching the diet on Thanksgiving week?
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? Probably great timing, though.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, dear.
You're never going to be on a diet again, so don't worry about Thanksgiving.
Exactly. So welcome to all of you. I think we'll just give it one more minute before we actually get started, but we could probably start by talking a little bit about ourselves while we're waiting.
Yeah. Hi, Tina. Hi, Shelly.
Hi, Paula.
And this is the way to do it if we can't see you. It's like that. Shelly from Medicine Hat. Thanks, Shelly. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Marcia.
Hi from Manitoba. Ruth. Hello from Illinois.
Hi, Paula. Woohoo, from Lincoln. We know you just moved and we see you here. Woohoo. We're glad you're back, Paula.
Awesome. And Linda from Georgia. Awesome. Okay, so for those of you that are new here, I think we recognize a lot of your names.
Yeah.
But for those of you that are new to us, my name is Casey.
And I'm Ruth.
And if you couldn't tell, we're related.
We're a mother-daughter team. And we can't wait to share with you today. We've been working really hard for the last couple of weeks. And just so you know, Casey has two little ones. Like they're 2 under the age of 3. So it's like almost 3, not quite, and a 4-month-old.
Yeah.
And so it's busy, and she has busy little girls. So we've been working hard in between sleeps and naps and feeding and all of that stuff that goes on with the family.
Half the time it's with screaming in the background, but you know what? We get it done. So that's what matters, right?
Hi, Bobby. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Jane. Yep. Hi, Jolynn. Oh, Jolynn says she doesn't have any sound.
Oh, hopefully you can figure it out, Jolynn.
Yeah, we want you to figure it out. Hopefully, maybe it's just your volume. Log off and log on again. Maybe reboot your phone.
Exactly. And I just had word. Both kids are sleeping. So woohoo! Life is good.
So we are doing this at this time for the reason that she just said. Her kids are both sleeping now. Dad and Papa are helping out. So we have a whole team so that we can do this and bring you this masterclass on how to fire your diet.
That's right. And you know what? We just want to say before we say anything else, that our goal and our mission for this Fire Your Diet Masterclass is truly to serve you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are going to share with you a really special Black Friday offer at the end of the masterclass that we've never shared before. We're really, really excited about it, but we want you to know that whether you choose to continue with us or not, doesn't really matter to us.
That's right.
Our big goal here is to serve you, to provide you with as much value as we possibly can. And whether you continue with us or not, our goal is to help Christian women get healthy.
That's right. That is our one main goal, is to help women fire their diets and to learn to live a happy, healthy lifestyle with God in the journey. Because when God is in the journey, we know the Bible promises that when we treat our body like a temple, we reap the rewards. We reap what we sow. So when we fuel our body right, you will shed the weight that you want to. And after this 3 days, our mission for you, like Casey said, is to help you, to really bring you value. And if you have never fired your diet,
today is the day.
Today is the day. And you're never going to want to diet ever again.
Exactly. And you know, the transformation that we want each one of you to have in this masterclass is for you to begin to believe, because I know lots of you don't currently believe that it's actually possible for you to lose the weight in a healthy, sustainable way and keep it off. And so that really, truly is our goal. It's that we want you to have that transformation during the next 3 days, where you can believe in yourself, maybe for the first time in a long time, to truly believe that it is possible. And we always say, you know what, with God in the journey, all things are possible.
Yes.
Like, think about that. That's
Amen.
Amazing, right? Amen.
And I always say, you are a woman chosen for greatness. God chose you for greatness. And if you don't believe in yourself yet, we believe in you.
Exactly.
So let us believe in you until you can believe in yourself.
Exactly.
So
before we get going any further, does everybody have their worksheets? Ours are just printed in black and white, but hopefully you got that email. Hopefully you were able to have it pulled up on your computer or printed or whatever works for you, because we've designed that so that you can just follow right along with. We've got very basic slides so that they're not distracting, but that it keeps us on point, and it also helps you to learn in different ways, right? Yeah. Some of us learn best by hearing, some of us learn best by reading, some of us learn best by taking notes. So we wanted to cover all of the bases for you. And Tina says, I am living proof. Give it a go. You will be very happy that you did. And you know what, Tina? You're going to see some pictures of you today. So we're excited about that too.
So yeah, just so you know, if you have any questions, you can post them in the chat. If we don't get to it right away, then just know that we're not trying to miss your question. You can always post it again if we don't answer it. But please know that our goal is to serve you for the next 3 days. So we are going to be answering your questions. And like Casey said, we're going to give you an opportunity to join us after the 3 days. But we're ready to get going now.
Yes, we are. And you can see we've got our tech team on. They have just posted the link to the worksheet there. If you did not get a chance to download it, you can do so there. It's right there in the comments, showing up from the Way Down Lifestyle. And so we have our tech team on as well, helping us here. So if there's questions that we miss, our tech team can kind of help us through that too, because you know what? Sometimes the chat moves really fast on us. And if we miss something, it's not because we're trying to miss it or skip a question. It's just because whew, there's lots of you here and we're pumped up and we love when you're engaged.
So are you ready? If you're ready, give us a thumbs up in the chat right now, because we want to know if you're ready for us to start, because we're ready.
Exactly. And hi, Joan from Ottawa. Beautiful,
Woo-hoo!
Beautiful city. We love it there.
Yeah. Hey, we love it everywhere.
That's right.
We know that this has been a trying time in the last couple of years with COVID. So we're happy to do this online. And we know that often, as women, we crave fellowship. So this is our time together. Okay.
Exactly. Ready. Here we go. Woohoo. Okay. So I'm going to start getting the slides ready to share. Do you want to just tell them a little bit about, why don't you tell them about me while I get the slides ready, and how this kind of all came to.
So we've got all our notes here. We don't want to miss anything, but I'm going to start by saying, Casey already told you, our mission is to help thousands of women to find freedom with food, to fire their diet, to shed the weight, all while not being on a diet, and to learn to find your identity in Christ. So how did this start? Like, where did this all begin? Where did the Way Down lifestyle, how did it happen? Like, how did we invent it, so to speak?
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you right now that I've always been passionate about health and fitness. In fact, in my prime of my life, I owned a gym for women, and I loved it because my mission was to help women shed the weight and get healthy. And so I traveled around and followed my husband in his career. When he got transferred, I had to sell my gym, but I'm going to tell you that was one of the best times of my life because I was fulfilling my passion, and I am passionate about helping women, and Christian women is my real passion. So I sold the gym, and years down the road, Casey and I got into business. And I'm going to tell you right now, we got into business, through a journey of Casey's, but we bought a coffee shop together.
Yeah, when we first got into business together.
That's a long time ago already. It's like 6 years ago, but we bought this coffee shop, and it was there.
We like coffee.
Yeah, we like coffee, and we still love coffee. So it was in that coffee shop that we developed a love for creating recipes. And because I love health and fitness, we made healthy food, and we realized that people craved healthy food. So we turned this coffee shop around, and we knew that we wanted to get back into helping women again. So we sold the coffee shop, and in the meantime, Casey got pregnant. Now, in her pregnancy, you're finished sharing the slides. Maybe I'm going to let you take over from
Sure,
here.
and I'm just going to keep it brief because we'll talk more about this through the next 3 days. But I gained a lot of weight while I was pregnant, okay? Like, I'm talking 85 pounds. And I didn't even lose an ounce. In fact, I gained weight coming home from the hospital after having given birth to my daughter. And so you can imagine that was a pretty low point for me. And you know what? That weight that just stuck to me like glue. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah.
And I was having such a heck of a time trying to lose that weight. And I felt so bad about myself. I had lost all my confidence. I was trying to hide myself all the time behind, baggy clothes, but I knew that didn't help. I knew I was still heavy. I had a hard time looking in the mirror. My knees hurt. I could hardly walk up a flight of stairs. I had all those aches and pains. I felt terribly about myself. And I just knew that, I couldn't lose the weight on another fad diet. I had spent my whole adult life, in fact, from the time I was probably 14, on all the fad diets, trying to maintain a healthy weight where I felt good about myself, but it was never enough. No matter what number the scale said, it was never enough. It was never good enough. And so here I was, 85 pounds heavier. And what I recognized at that point was that the number on the scale really, truly is not the issue. The issue is that we need to learn to view our bodies and our relationship with food differently.
Amen.
Right? Because I could have gone on another fad diet and lost the weight, but then the second that, I would have gone to go eat a piece of bread or come off that silly cabbage soup diet or whatever diet I would have tried, the weight would have started to come back on. And the thing is, I knew that I would not have addressed the actual root issue, right? Which was in here. It wasn't about what was going in my mouth. I mean, that was part of it, right? Because we don't believe in diets and being restrictive and punishing yourself. But what I recognized is that, those diets were messing with my mind. I had a very mixed up relationship with food. And if you can relate to that, go ahead and put a big yes in the chat. Because if you have ever felt like food controls your thoughts, day in, day out, from the second you wake up to the second you go to bed. And then you wake up in the night and you're thinking, what can I get up to go eat? You know what? That was me. From the second I woke up, it was like, I can't eat any bread today. And then all I would think about was bread all day, right? Or chocolate.
Or chips,
right? Whatever it was. And it was like on repeat in my brain all day. And it was like I was trying so hard to focus on losing this weight, and all I could think about was food. And you know what? That's kind of like an addiction, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're seeing all these yeses and even some absolutely's coming into the chat there. And so, you know what? I understand those feelings that you are feeling. And so does Ruth, because you know what?
I had my own journey and I gained weight as well at a certain time. And I'll tell my story at a different time.
That's right.
Yeah.
But we understand that craziness that goes on inside your head, right? When you're trying so hard to lose weight, but it's not working. Right? And if you think about the fact that you're here today and you've probably been on a perpetual diet for your entire life, just like I was, but you're still here needing to lose weight. So clearly something's not working.
So it's time to ditch those diets.
That's right.
For good.
Exactly. And so what we want to ask you to start off, you'll see it on your worksheet. It's the very first question on there. What is the first thing you think about when you hear the word diet? Okay, and you can go ahead and put that in the chat.
Yeah, so go ahead and answer in the chat. What's the first thing you think of when you hear the word diet? And I'm going to tell you that my first thought, and it might be your first thought, it might not be, but mine is die with a T, because I hate diets. It's like just dying because you can't eat the food that you love. What's your first thought?
I always say my first thought is I cannot ever eat chips again. And for me, that is like the death of my soul. No, I'm just kidding. Chips is my, that's my kind of go-to, right? We all have our thing.
And we're seeing so many things in the chat here. No sugar, die with a T, food restrictions, starvation, deprivation.
No sugar.
No sugar. Oh, giving up all the things you love, failure, failed, no chocolate. Yeah, I'm sure you can see we have people streaming in from different platforms. So you might not see all the posts, but we do.
Yeah.
So yeah, chips are your kryptonite.
And Marcia said failed. That is a brilliant one.
Yeah.
It's terrible that that's what we think of, but that is a brilliant one.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think the biggest one I've seen is restriction.
Restriction
or
and
blah
deprivation.
foods, salad forever, salad, no
bird
carbs.
seed, rabbit food, like all these things come to your mind when
no chocolate.
Yeah. You know, it's like,
yeah, like, doesn't that feel horrible?
We don't want to live like that. Nobody wants to live like that. That's why we have the Monday morning perpetual dieters.
Suffering from caffeine. Yes.
Suffering. Yes.
Donna,
yes.
no bread.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I
don't think there was one positive comment about the word diet.
Oh yeah. Goska says, no this, no that.
Yeah.
That's right. There's all these restrictions. You can't have anything you love.
Yep.
Right.
It's no.
It was negative. I hope you saw that. I hope you realized that's what it said. Now, we're going to change that up and we're going to talk about this. Answer the next question and put your answer in the chat. What is the first thing you think of when you hear healthy lifestyle? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear healthy lifestyle?
Well, I had said I think we did a live about this in our community yesterday. The first thing I think of when I think healthy lifestyle is like, you can probably picture this image in your head. It's one of those like slender ladies with the measuring tape all tied around her waist with an apple in her hand or something like. That's the first thing I think of.
Like, ooh la la.
Yeah, exactly.
And that reminds me of your daughter, Jordan. She's into the fancy Nancy right
Yeah,
now.
ooh la la, she says. Yeah, it's funny.
So the first thing I think of when I hear healthy lifestyle, I think of freedom with food. I can enjoy my healthy foods that I love. That's what I think of.
Yeah.
What a positive thing. I get to eat food I love. Wow.
Exactly. Okay, so we're seeing some interesting responses here to this one. So there's some really positive ones. Good for my body. Food limited too. No taste. A fit person. Balanced. Restrictions. Good and sensible. No sweets and exercising. I don't know how to do that. Salad. Out of reach, but I want it. Working out every day. All healthy foods. Positive changes. Mindfulness. Healthy food. Okay,
Wow.
so
Wow.
that is really interesting that healthy lifestyle for some of you still has a bit of a negative connotation, right? And that's probably because we think about, I mean, we've heard lots about healthy lifestyles and diets over the years.
Yeah.
To us, healthy lifestyle is really, really positive because when we have our health, man, we've got it going on, right?
Yeah, because you can buy the absolute best bed, the most amount of money for a bed in the world, but that doesn't give you a good night's sleep, right? And you can do the same thing with these diets. You can diet, and you might think, well, those diets are all, like, some of them are good for you. That's what you might be thinking, or you might be thinking they're all bad for you. So you have this whole, your wires are crossed in your mind about dieting. And so when we have these negative things about a healthy lifestyle, we need to uncross those wires.
Yep, we sure do.
A healthy lifestyle means that you are going to be like getting the rest that you need, putting the right foods in your body, nourishing your body. And we're going to talk about an analogy about a vehicle pretty soon. But yeah, wow, that is really interesting, like you said.
Yeah,
different perspectives here.
That's right. And so, what we really want you to get out of today is that it is very important that we fire our diets, okay? Because the diets, whatever you think about a healthy lifestyle right now, the diets isn't working. That was all negative. And like I said, you've been on diets your whole life. That's why you're here. I was on diets my whole life. Ruth was on diets her whole life. They're not working. If they worked, we wouldn't have a weight problem anymore, right? But they're not working. So we have to stop with the insanity, because that's really truly what insanity is.
Yeah,
right? It's doing the same thing
over and over and
expecting a different result. But we continue getting the same result every time that we go on a diet. In fact, the statistics say that for every diet that you try, you actually end up gaining between 2 and 3 pounds.
So if you've tried 6 or 7 diets, you've just gained 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Dieting, you might get a result with dieting. You will lose some weight with dieting. It's very restrictive and, like we saw, negative. And we have these negative thoughts about dieting, but it will get you a result for a while. But what happens is you go off your diet and then you gain it all back, plus more. If that's you, if you've ever been on a diet and you went off it and you gained it back, type the word "me" in the chat.
Exactly. And Tammy says, the older I get, I find it harder to lose. Yeah, and I don't think you're alone with that, Tammy. But
someone else is saying, you're saying the exact same thing my cardiologist told me. Yes, thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But diets are not working. And we often talk about how diets are, like, we come at a diet, and you can see it from all the comments. We come at diets from such a negative mindset, from such a negative position up here. Right? Think about the last diet that you started. Why did you start it? What was the catalyst that made you go, okay, I have to start a diet today? Chances are it was that you put on some clothes that no longer fit, or you didn't feel good in. You looked in the mirror and thought, oh my goodness, I can't believe that's what I look like. You are telling yourself how much you despise how you look. Or
your knees hurt, your back aches, you can't get up off the floor. It's hard to get up off a chair. There are so many reasons why you probably started.
Exactly. And they're all negative reasons, right? They're all things like you're starting that diet because you're punishing yourself, because you looked in the mirror today, or you stepped on the scale today and it didn't say what you wanted it to say, or you didn't look how you wanted to look. And so you go, well, I guess I have to deprive my body of everything good because I hate myself. Right? And maybe you're not saying quite those strong of words, but chances are that's the thought process that's going on in your head.
So here's another question for you. What is the first thing, because Casey just talked about the mirror, what is the first thing that you think of when you look at yourself in the mirror? You looked at yourself this morning. We all look at ourselves in the mirror when we get ready. That's just what women do. So what did you think this morning when you looked at yourself in the mirror? Did you think, oh, wow, you're beautiful? Did you think, oh, wow, I'm so glad I'm alive today. I'm so glad that God gave me these beautiful eyes. What did you think when you looked in the mirror? Oh, look at that. Yeah, I look horrible, ugly, gross, disgusting, fat, ugly, fat with rolls. Do you see how when we look at ourselves, all we're seeing is negative. Do you see that it's so sad that someone else is saying disappointed in myself? Yeah, how did I get so far off track? And here's Tammy. This is a good one. I'm a beautiful daughter of the King Most High. Wow.
She's been doing the work. Way to go, Tammy.
Yes, Tammy's been doing it. But if you can see all these comments, I could lose more weight. I'm ugly. I have a muffin top. I don't like what I see. I have so many wrinkles. Oh my goodness. That is such a sad thing to read. And when you look at these comments, you might be thinking, wow, that's not how God wants us to see ourselves, right?
And would you ever say something like that to a friend?
No. You would never tell your friend that she looks fat or ugly.
No.
We just don't talk like that to people we love. So it's time that we learn to love ourselves, because that is what God calls us to do. He calls us to love ourselves, love our neighbors as ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? So that right there is a big, big, big reason why we need to fire our diets, because all that fad diet culture has done over the years to us as women is created these unrealistic expectations of who we should be, of how we should look. And you know what? We need to quit that, right? It's like Ruth said, we are called to love ourselves like we love our neighbor. That's what the Bible says. Wow. And you know what? We've got a point coming up here in a minute, but we need you to know right now that God made no mistakes when he created you. Okay? He created your body exactly how he wanted it. And now that doesn't mean that he wants us to be overweight. We believe that, you know, God calls us to treat our body like a temple, right? And we're going to talk all about that. But you were made with no mistakes. Your body shape is exactly how God wanted it. Okay?
And your body shape isn't going to change. Your body shape is who you are. Whether you're overweight or underweight, you have a body shape that God gave you specifically. And so let's go on to the next slide, because I know that it's a really good one. And we love using this analogy, and we use it a lot.
And so this is why we need to start fueling our bodies, right? We need to fire our diets, and we need to start fueling our body well. So can everybody see the slides now that say your body is like a luxury vehicle?
If you can, give us a thumbs up. The slides aren't updating. Okay.
There we go. Okay, good. We're on it. Okay.
Perfect.
So,
okay.
And Joan says, thankfully, we can reduce our body shape. Yes, that's true. We can definitely live at a healthy weight. And what we need you to know is, you know, our way down lifestyle is all about being a healthy version of you. That's okay. Right. Not based on what you think you should look like, not based on what the models look like, not based on what the BMI says you should be. It's based on
how God made you.
And I won't get very far into depth with this, but just so you know, for me, on the BMI, when I'm at a healthy weight, I border right on healthy and overweight.
The BMI, if you don't know, is the body mass index.
And so forget those things. Forget the scale, forget the body mass index, forget the picture of what you think the perfect body looks like. God created you how he wanted you. And so let's get into talking about how your body is like a luxury vehicle.
Yeah. And Casey just said, when God made you, he made you beautiful. And so there's a verse in the Bible that says, when God made man and woman, he said it was very good. Wow. Very good.
Kathy says, I'm a Porsche. I love it, Kathy. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what your favorite luxury vehicle is? Because you can be that luxury vehicle today.
Yeah. God said he made us very good. Our bodies are incredible. And God perfectly knit you together in your mother's womb. So go ahead. We want you to start imagining a luxury vehicle. Right now, Kathy already answered. She's a Porsche. What vehicle is your favorite luxury vehicle? You might not have it. That's okay. We want you to imagine right now. So imagine a vehicle right now. What is your favorite? I'm going to tell you mine is a Jaguar.
Oh, so is somebody else's.
Awesome. We have the same one. Infinity. Oh,
love it, Paula.
Love it,
yeah,
Paula.
that's awesome.
Woo-hoo. So what's yours?
Mine's probably a BMW. Yeah.
I love, Mustang, Tammy. I love Mustangs too.
Oh, Bugatti. Love it.
Oh yeah. Lamborghini. Woohoo.
Yeah, these are
love
awesome.
It, love it,
yeah.
love it. So
Tina's got the big time high taste.
Corvette. Maybe it's a Tesla. Corvette. Yeah, perfect. Go ahead and tell us what your favorite vehicle is. That if you could have any vehicle you want, what would you go and buy right now?
Yeah. And so while you're all typing that
Cadillac,
in,
I love
a
it.
48 Ford convertible. That's a cool
beauty.
one.
That's a beauty.
Yeah, that is Mustang.
Mustang.
Love it. And so think about all of these luxury vehicles.
Shelby saying.
No, a Shelby Mustang.
Shelby Mustang.
Yeah.
Yes.
Terry, you and me, we've got it. Mercedes.
Woo! That's fun. BMW, Buick. Yes.
Yeah, those are nice too. They're all nice.
An SUV. Yes. A fully loaded SUV.
Yeah.
Perfect. You know
all of these luxury vehicles are fully loaded, right? They've got power seats. They've got heated, cooled seats. They've got sunroofs. They've got, you name it. They've got it, right? They've got GPS. They've got Bluetooth.
Let's ask another question. What is it about a luxury vehicle? If you could add one thing to maybe your vehicle, what would you add? What is that luxury piece that you would like? Because I know for me, I like the auto start where, because we live in the north where it gets cold in the winter. So I like to be able to just turn my car on and get the car warm. That's what I like. What do you like?
I like the heated seats, probably for the same reason.
And if you live in the south where it's always hot, you probably like the cooled seats.
Exactly. Bigger speakers, heated seats, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So you know what? All those luxury cars have all the bells and whistles, smoothness.
That's a great
driver, Patricia.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Self-parking. Ooh,
whoa,
I don't have that.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. Well, lots of them are doing that these days, I think even.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Whoa.
Command start from Yvonne. Yeah.
Heated seats, comfort. Yeah. GPS. I do have heated steering wheel. Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So good, right? And so our bodies are much like these luxury vehicles. They require like our attention so that they work well.
Yeah.
Right.
And like if you have a luxury vehicle, you probably keep it clean. You probably take it to the car wash. You probably do more to your luxury vehicle, or you would do more if you had one, than just your regular vehicle. But I think
if you had an old junker, you probably wouldn't care too much if it looked clean.
That's right. But I think I'm going to just talk about the other side of it a little bit. Some of you think, because this is a very fun activity, just imagining a luxury vehicle, right? But some of you, as you're writing that, might be thinking, oh, it's unattainable.
Yeah, luxury vehicles are too expensive.
I can never have it. It's not even necessary.
Yeah, it's out of my reach.
Way too extravagant. What else? It's just unaffordable. In my lifetime, I'll never be able to have that.
Exactly. But you know what? We like to compare our bodies to these luxury vehicles.
So we're going to say you can have that luxury vehicle because your body is that.
Exactly. Because if you think about all the bells and whistles on these luxury vehicles, okay? And then think about how God created your body, right? You have eyes, and this is on your worksheet because we thought this was so important. We wanted to include it here because you were made like with detail and attention and with great care by God, okay? Your eyes can differentiate approximately 10 million different colors.
Isn't that mind-blowing? 10 million different colors. That far
outdoes any camera, any land, like, wow, it's incredible, right?
We can't even imagine 10 million colors.
No, your skin has the elasticity to grow and change, even to grow another human being without breaking. It can stretch that much without breaking.
Yeah, your skin doesn't rip apart when you're 9 months pregnant. You might have stretch marks, but it doesn't rip apart and open up.
Exactly. Like, isn't that amazing?
It's totally amazing.
Exactly. Like, it's incredible.
And your brain is like the most complex processor of information on the planet. Wow.
Yeah. Like, we know how fast we expect our computers to be this day, or in this day and age. Like, I remember when we got our very first computer at home, and then when we got dial-up internet, and we would wait like 10 minutes for a page to load sometimes, right?
And now if it's 2 seconds, we're like, come on.
Yeah, we're like, well, it's not working. And our brains are like infinitely faster and more powerful than the most incredible computer that exists today.
Yeah, it's amazing how God made our bodies. Another thing is your fingerprint. It's 100% unique to you. Isn't that just awesome? We serve an awesome God.
We do. And it's like I said, God took great care and attention to detail when he formed your body.
That's right.
And so, it is our responsibility now to treat our bodies like the luxury vehicles. And we need the high octane fuel, which we're going to talk about now. And that's the whole thing about firing your diet.
Oh, yeah, we have another thing coming up before the high octane fuel, but you know that high luxury vehicles, they need the high octane fuel. If you do have a luxury vehicle, I'm sure you don't put the low grade fuel into your fuel tank. No, the manual says you need to use the high octane fuel so that it runs to maximum
efficiency.
That's right. Like you want to treat it well. And that's what you need to do with your body. And so we just have, we have a case study here that we want to share with you before we talk about these fuels for our body. But let's go to the next slide because we have a slide about Tina.
And so she's here.
Tina's here with us right now.
So let's everybody put a big like hands up for Tina, you know, the emoji for Tina, because Tina is amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Tina has had a very difficult few years, and we won't talk about all her story because that's for her, but she's had a very, very challenging few years. And she says, nothing cheap for my baby. Laugh out loud. That's what Tina says. And here's what she says about her journey with the Weigh Down lifestyle. And we're going to show you this because we need you to know that this is possible for Tina. It's possible for Casey. It's possible for Ruth, and it's possible for you. Okay.
And before Casey reads this, I'm just going to say, Tina was on all those other diets, just like you. She didn't believe in herself when she started either. In fact, she used to spend about $400 every month on a diet. And then she fired her diet. And this is
and here's what she has to say. She says, my name is Tina and I'm from Cambridge, Ontario. I've been married for 38 years. I have been blessed with 2 boys. One's married, one is still at home. I've been enjoying the Weigh Down lifestyle for over a year, I guess from the beginning, and have lost 40 pounds, reaching my goal weight. There's no magic pill, no fad diet, just clean, healthy eating. And yes, it works.
Woo-hoo!
It's not a diet, but a lifestyle change. It's a loving, caring, safe community. We include God in our journey, and He walks beside us every day.
And we know that Tina's even lost more than 40 pounds. Tina, go ahead in the chat right now and tell us exactly how much you have shed, because sometimes we say lost, we are going to lose weight, but we don't actually want to lose the weight, because usually when you refer to losing something, you want to find it again. But Tina has shed the pounds, and she hasn't found it again. She has kept the pounds off.
And Tina says, you should see me now. She's 45 pounds down. So she hit her target weight goal, then lost a little more just because she kept living a healthy lifestyle. And you know what? Here's the thing. And Tina is living proof of this. It is possible.
That's
Tina
right.
fired her diet, and like, look at where she is now. Tina looks good. She feels good. She's regained confidence in herself. You know what? Tina's amazing. And we know Tina, she's a part of our incredible community. And like, we want you to know more than anything else that it is possible. And you know what? You might have 150 pounds to lose. You might have 300 pounds to lose. You might have 10 pounds to lose. It doesn't matter how much or how little you have to lose. Okay. This is a no judgment zone. But what we want you to know is that no matter what, it is possible.
And when you treat your body like a temple rather than a trash can, you do reap what you sow. You reap the rewards. And that is what happened to Tina. So let's go on to the next slide, because we're going to talk about how she did it by firing her diet. We're going to talk about what it means to treat your body like a temple. We're going to talk about what it means to fuel your body with a high octane fuel. So this slide that you can see right there, it talks about the high octane fuel. And there are 7 main nutrients, main categories of nutrients that our bodies need, which is the high octane fuel. And there you can see what they are. And I'm going to just talk for a minute about each one of them.
And I just have to say Stephanie's comment before you start. She said, it is possible. Christmas is not scary for the first time. Woo, Stephanie.
I love it, Stephanie.
That's the greatest comment.
That is,
I love it.
Awesome.
And Tina says, it's amazing you get results. Yes.
And someone says, I love that the line, treat your body like a temple, not a trash can.
Yeah.
Yes, you're very welcome. We say that a lot because, you know,
it's easy to treat our bodies like a trash can in the world we currently live in.
Yeah, because the media and the fad diet culture, they just they have taught us wrong. We are believing so many lies that are out there. And so that's why we need to treat our body like the luxury vehicle and give ourselves the high octane fuel that our bodies need. These are normal foods that God gave for us. So I'm going to talk quickly about some of these. And I know Casey's going to help me so I don't keep rambling and so that I don't talk about these too long. But the first one is carbohydrates. Now, many people think that carbs are bad. You know, carbohydrates get a really bad rap, and that is because of all those diets. Often when you think of carbohydrates, like what's the first thing you think of when you hear carbs? I think of bread. Like, go ahead in the chat. What do you think of when you hear carbs? I think bread or pasta. What do you think?
I think of like really bad, simple carbs, like a bag of Cheetos or a bag of chips or you know, any of that kind of stuff.
Okay. So while you're putting that in the chat, what you think is the first thing you think of when you hear carbs? Yeah, bread or pasta. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to tell you.
Pasta, bread. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what most people think. And then most of those diets out there now say you can never have bread again.
Weight gain.
Oh my goodness. I love bread. I don't want to live without eating bread. Do you?
Nope.
No.
I sure don't.
So we still do eat bread, but we eat the high fuel,
the high octane,
the high octane fuel bread.
Yeah.
And so here's what I'm going to tell you about carbohydrates. Carbohydrates come from grains, yes, just like what you're saying, from bread and pasta, but we can eat them when it's the right ones. They come from fruit. They come from vegetables. Carbohydrates are in legumes. They often, like I said, get this bad rap. And here's the thing. Carbohydrates give us energy, and we need energy so that so our vehicles can run well, so that they can function throughout the day. But there are simple carbs and complex carbs. And there's a big difference between the two. Some carbs are healthy and some carbs are not. Some give us more fuel and some just kind of are that low grade that makes us not run very well. Some actually harm our bodies and some help our bodies. So that's all I'm going to say about carbs. But we love carbs. Okay. Yep. And here's the other thing. Carbohydrates are one of the 3 macronutrients. Now, a macronutrient is something that you need in a larger amount. Okay, so carbohydrates we need in a larger amount. So I'm going to go on to protein. Protein is the second macronutrient that we need in larger amounts. Now, protein is essential for muscle building and for retaining your muscle. We need muscle in our bodies, and if we don't have it, we waste away. Muscle helps us walk up a flight of stairs. Muscle helps us get up off a chair or up and down off the floor. Muscle helps me carry my suitcases. And I often talk about that because I want to be able to lift my own suitcase. Muscle just does so much for us. It helps us carry our kids or our grandkids. We need muscle. Okay. So protein comes from meat and also other sources, but I'm just going to talk that much about protein. Let's move on to fats. Now, fats really have a bad rap, but we need fats in our body. And this is the 3rd macronutrient, which we need in larger amounts. Fat actually satiates our body, which makes us feel fuller and more satisfied. So some healthy fats that we need in our body are fats that come from like avocados or olives or flax seeds or nuts like walnuts. But there are very healthy fats and there are very unhealthy fats, but our bodies need fat. Okay, so those are the 3 macronutrients: carbohydrates, protein, and fats. And we need them. We need them for the high octane fuel in our body. Mm-hmm. We need them in order to fire our diet.
Exactly. And if you think about for a second, if you think about almost every fad diet that exists out there, it either restricts or eliminates one of those 3 macronutrients, or it like increases it, right? Maybe you were on a high protein diet, like
and a low
keto
carb.
Or like Atkins, the one back in the day, right? Mm-hmm. It was like you could eat 3 packs of bacon for the day, but you were still doing good on your diet. Like, How does that make sense? Or the low carb diets, right? Where you're saying you're never going to have this again, or you're never going to have bread again, or potatoes or pasta, right? Or this one hasn't been so trendy lately, but you know, back in the 90s, early 2000s, everything was low fat. And you want to know what they did when they made things low fat? They took out all the good stuff and they added a whole pile of sugar.
That's right. And society just got bigger.
Yeah. But we were told that that was what we should be doing for our bodies. So you can see how all these diets, and like God made all of these 7 classes of nutrients for our bodies to run well.
Like
and
the
here
vehicle,
we
the
are.
luxury vehicle.
Exactly. And here we are trying to say, well, can't ever eat that carb again. Can't ever have fats again. You know, oh, I'm going to eat, like I said, eat 6 packs of bacon today. Like that is not how God designed our bodies to work. But that's what we've been taught to do. That's what we've been conditioned to do by all of the fad diets that exist out there. And we're saying enough's enough.
That's right.
So I'll let you carry on here with the micronutrients.
Okay, so these are micronutrients, and vitamins and minerals are crucial to our life. This is what they do is they help to boost our immune system. We can't live without them. They have to be absorbed, and it's the fat that helps absorb these. So it's really important that we have the fat, which is the macronutrient, to get the micronutrients into our body and into our bloodstream and into our organs that need it. So the fats actually make our skin and our hair healthy. Now, vitamins and minerals, you might have heard the thing like, you know, about the eyes, like carrots are good for your eyes. Well, it's true. We need those vitamins from healthy foods so that our organs work and function well and we have good eyesight. But just remember, the healthy fats help absorb those micronutrients. Okay, so let's go on to fiber. Many of you have probably counted fiber. Fiber is really important to our bodies because what it does is it helps us feel fuller, and it also helps excrete the waste that needs to come out of our body. God made our bodies perfectly. And so it's just like a vehicle uses the fuel. Our bodies use the fiber and the fuel that we give it. So we need all of these, but fiber is really important. So we have to make sure that we're getting enough fiber, and we have to make sure that when we intake the fiber, it balances our blood sugar. So it is really, really important. And God made everything perfect. Like for instance, let's just look at an orange. When you eat an orange is a higher sugar fructose fruit that God made for us to enjoy. But God put fiber in the orange so that the fiber actually balances out the sugars. So yes, if you're a diabetic, the sugar might be a little high for you. But if you're not a diabetic, God made that fiber in the orange perfectly so that we can eat it and enjoy it. Now, if you squish the juice out of the orange and you don't eat the fiber, well, it is pure sugar in your body. It's fructose from the orange, but it spikes your blood sugar instantly versus eating the whole orange that has the fiber to help balance it out. So that's just a little example about how important fiber is. Let's go on to water. Wow, we need a drink of water. Have a drink of water right now. In the Way Down Lifestyle, we talk about how important water is. And water is one of those things that it's life sustaining. We need water in our bodies. Now, we also need water to help us shed the pounds. Mm-hmm. So we have to be drinking enough water so that we don't get dehydrated. But we have some interesting facts about water. And I'm going to let Casey talk a little bit so I can give my voice a bit of a rest.
So like Ruth said, water is crucial. And we often don't think about water when we think about, you know, food and nutrition, right? But water is so important. 60% of our body is made up of water. You've probably heard lots of these before, but it's worth the repetition. Yeah. Our brain and our heart are composed of 73% water. Wow. So if you're starving your body of water, then those those organs are not getting enough, right? If it's made up of 73% water, like we got to be drinking some water to keep things hydrated. Our lungs are made up of about 83% water. The skin contains 64% water. Muscles and kidneys are 79%. Even the bones have a lot of water at 31%. Water helps us to flush out the toxins, like Ruth said, and the waste. And so we have to make sure that we're drinking enough water. And Nancy says, I drink 64 fluid ounces of water. Way to go, Nancy.
Any amount of water that you drink is great. But we're going to tell you that you have to be drinking enough water if you want to shed the weight.
That's right. And how much water you should actually drink, we'll just give you a little tip here. Lots of you have probably heard this before, but if you have ever questioned how much water you should actually be drinking for your body, the rule of thumb is to take your body weight, divide it in half, and then that's how many ounces of water you should be drinking per day. So if you weigh 200 pounds, divide it in half to get 100. So you should be drinking 100 ounces of water a day.
Oh, that's great. Somebody just said, I'm trying to drink around 100 ounces of water.
That's great. But you know what else we have to say is that if you currently don't drink any water, then don't think to yourself, well, I'm going to start drinking 100 ounces of water tomorrow.
That's right.
You have to start where you're at.
Yeah, you have to start where you're at, and you're not going to succeed if you've never drank any water and today you're going to drink 100 ounces.
Exactly.
That's going to be overflowing.
Exactly. Tell yourself you're going to have 2 8-ounce glasses, and then you can probably even surpass your goal for the day, and you're going to feel good about yourself, and you're going to want to do it again tomorrow because you're winning, because you're achieving your goals, right? So that's just a little side note for you.
So why is it so important to talk about those 7 categories of nutrients for our bodies?
Well, you know what? It's because our bodies need all of them. And so when we are on all of these terrible fad diets that say, don't eat carbs, eat as much protein as you want, make everything low fat, all that stuff, we're actually not treating our bodies very well. We're not treating our bodies how God designed them. And you know what else isn't treating our bodies how God designed them? Eating all of the processed junk that exists out there either, because like Ruth talked about with carbohydrates, for example, if all you're doing is consuming simple carbohydrates that have no good fuel in them for your body, that's not good either, right? So
in fact, I just want to say something here, because just so you know, simple carbs and complex carbs are different, okay? Complex carbohydrates their molecule chains are longer. And so it helps to take longer for your food to digest, and it provides more lasting energy. That's why it's so important to have the complex carbohydrates. The simple carbohydrates get used up immediately, and they're not good for your body because they don't balance out your sugars. They just spike your insulin, and then the fat storage hormone kicks in, which is the insulin. That vicious cycle starts. And that's what we want to avoid.
Exactly. And so, you know what? It's important for us to think about our bodies like those luxury vehicles, right? We need the high octane fuels for our body. We need those good complex carbohydrates. And you know what? That means we can eat bread. That means we can eat pasta. That means we can eat potatoes, sweet potatoes. That means we can eat all of those things. And our body needs that food, that fuel for energy. But we need to make sure that we're eating the right ones, right? A bag of potato chips is not going to do your body a whole heck of a lot of good. That's a simple carb that just is like
used up and doesn't do anything for your body.
They might taste good,
but it does not give you the energy or the fuel. It's not the high octane fuel that your body needs to run on.
Exactly. And so, you know, we find people are in one of 2 camps usually, right? They're on all these restrictive diets where they're never eating bread ever again, or they're so fed up with all the diets that they're just going gung-ho, they've ditched it all, and they're just eating a whole pile of junk, right? And so we just have to get back to basics. We have to get back to moderation, right?
And
moderation and portion control are key for us so that we can eat all of the things that we actually want to eat.
We can still enjoy the food that God has given us. We can enjoy good, healthy tasting food. We love food.
Exactly. And you know, this is one thing I often think about, so I hope I can communicate it well. We hear so many women that say things like, well, I can't ever eat a banana, or oranges are, you know, they're so high in sugar, I can't ever eat an orange again. But I often think, you know, 100 years ago, people ate oranges, people ate bananas. We didn't have this obesity epidemic, this diabetes epidemic that's going on in the world. And I think that's because, you know, today, yes, that orange might have too much sugar and it makes your blood sugar spike. But if you cut out all the other crap, if you weren't stuffing your body full of processed junk, that orange wouldn't make your blood sugar spike the same way because it would be under control, you know, all the time, right? Your body wouldn't have to be trying to fight off all of the processed junk that it's consuming in the meantime. And so the orange and the banana get this bad reputation, or foods like that
are actually a treat for your body.
That's right. Exactly. And, you know, we're willing to go stuff our faces with, and I'm saying we, right? Like I've done it too. And I still have to manage what I eat. I still have to think about what I'm putting in my mouth every single day because the temptations are real. But we're so busy stuffing our faces with processed junk, with the bag of chips, with the chocolate bars, with eating out, with the drive-thrus, with the milkshakes, with all of the things. But then we're saying no to a banana.
Exactly.
Like it really is mixed up thinking. And so we have to fire our diets and start fueling our bodies well so that our bodies can function like they were intended to by an incredible God who created incredible bodies.
Absolutely. So right now we want to give you another testimonial. We're going to move on to our next slide. And we want you to hear from some of people who have fired their diets already and are doing really well. So go ahead and share this. I hope
the sound will work here.
Yeah, hopefully the sound will work. You
How
can
has
let us
your life
know.
changed since you fired your diet?
I think the most important thing for me is less stress. If I'm less stressed, I'm functioning better, I make better choices, and everything is better. So I feel better, I feel stronger. And also my approach to food really changed. And I'm very happy about that because my thoughts were kind of wrong with what I'm seeing now. I see stuff different way, and I think this is what I learned, and it works. I feel better of medication. I'm stronger, and that's the most important thing.
Oh, thank you so much, Costa. That's a wonderful testimonial of firing your diet. And Sheila, how has your life changed since you fired your diet?
Well, mainly my life has changed because I drink water now that I never did drink before. And I'm satisfied with banana instead of a cake. And also I've been taken off of my blood pressure medicine, my diabetic medicine, and my heart medicine was cut in half. So I'm really satisfied with this program.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing. Way to go, Sheila. Thank you for that. So Tina, you just have to unmute. And how has your life changed since you fired your diet?
I feel good. I look good. I love the fact that portion control is a big thing with this, and it's not counting calories and writing things down. It just works for what it is. The food is fantastic. The recipes are fantastic.
Thank you, Tina.
So you can see that these women, lots of them, I think all three of those women are on here live with us today. You can see that they have fired their diets and they're feeling way, way, way better. And they're experiencing incredible, what we call non-scale victories. You've probably heard that before.
That's so important. And thank you for those testimonials, Goska, Sheila, and Tina. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Exactly. And so we are just going to start wrapping up here and get into today's exercises. I did see one question. So I'll just flip the slide here if I can. There we go. I saw one question about, can you drink too much water? And you can drink too much water. Technically, that you have to drink a lot of water to drink too much water. And you know what? We are not nutritionists. We're not dietitians. And so what your body needs, we can't tell you exactly how much or how little water your body needs. But just know that it takes a lot of water to drink too much.
But you do have a great analogy about the plant and
Yes,
water. So
I do.
why don't we quickly tell them about that analogy, because it's a great one about water.
Sure. And so as I tell that, if you have some questions for us today, we're here to answer your questions. So why don't you go ahead and put your questions in the chat if you have any questions right now. But yes, with water, I know a lot of women feel like it's overwhelming to try and start drinking water when you're not used to it. And they say, you know, we get this feedback all the time. Well, I'm just in the bathroom all day long. Okay.
Right.
And our bodies act like plants when it comes to water consumption. So if you think about a plant that you have like severely neglected, I've got a few of those, and then you go to water it, and the soil is so dry that it can't hold on to any of that water. It just like runs right through. Right? We've all probably experienced that.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy smokes, did that plant even get any water out of that?
Yeah, because it all dripped out.
Exactly. But then if you continue watering that plant more consistently, the soil isn't so dry anymore. And all of a sudden it starts to be able to absorb and soak up that water, and it doesn't run through the same way. It can actually use the water. It absorbs the water, and our bodies are exactly like that when it comes to consuming enough water. And so, excuse me. And so like when you first start drinking water, if your body's not used to it, then, it just all runs through you and you have to go to the washroom all the time. But slowly over time, your body gets used to handling more water. And then all of a sudden you don't have to go to the washroom as often. I mean, yes, you still have to go to the washroom, but it's not like you're in the washroom every 15 minutes or every half hour, like when you first start, because your body learns what to do with it. It knows how to like disseminate the water through your body so that your body's actually absorbing the water. It's using the water. And when you first start drinking the water, when you're not used to it, it's like your body just has to flush all that toxic stuff out that it hasn't been able to get rid of. And that's why it just runs right through you.
Your bodies are so adaptable. God made us so unique and so wonderfully knit together that yes, we can adapt to drinking more water. And we need water. Our bodies are made up of over 60% of water, like we said before. So it's important to have all those 7 categories of nutrients. It's important to fire your diet so that you are taking in the nutrients that your body's lacking when you're only eating processed junk. It is super, super important to make sure we're getting all those nutrients. So right now, we hope you're ready to fire your diet. We've talked about all the 7 categories of nutrients that we need. We've talked about we don't want to start from a negative starting point because that just creates like this whole attitude of failure. So if you're ready to fire your diet, put the word fired in the chat right now.
Or give us the fire emoji.
Yeah. But say fired or the fire emoji. We want to know that you're ready to fire your diet and to treat your body like a temple. Because when we do that, and we do it with portion control and moderation, we can still enjoy the foods, and we know we're going to reap the rewards because the Bible promises that. We will reap what we sow.
Exactly. And Greta says, it's hard to portion control when I'm hungry. And then I'm not sure what,
yeah, we don't know what that
I'm not sure what you mean there at the end, Greta. She said it's hard to portion control when I'm hungry. And you know what, Greta? It can be hard to portion control when we feel hungry. And so a few solutions or like tricks and tips to try are, we got to start eating slower, right? And especially when we're hungry, that can be challenging because we sit down and we're like ravishing. So we just like shove all the food in our face so fast that our bodies don't have time to actually catch up and go, oh,
that's right,
I'm full. And so one thing that we say is like, put your fork down between every bite of food that you have. Like when you first start that, you're going to have to be very intentional about doing that. You have to think about it, right?
You might also have to think about what categories of nutrients you are putting into your body, because it makes a difference which ones you put in on how hungry you feel. For instance, if you have some avocado, which is a very high fat, but a healthy fat, it's going to make you feel more satiated. So you will feel fuller longer. Also, that's where the fiber comes in. It's really important to go through and find out what you're actually taking in.
Exactly.
So,
and make sure, Greta, if you've been portion controlling in the past, like Ruth says, were you portion controlling on like a low carb diet so that you weren't, so all you were eating is protein? Because then of course we're going to feel hungry.
Yeah, exactly.
So think about those things too, Greta, when you're thinking about portion controlling. Make sure that you're treating your body like the luxury vehicle, right? We're firing our diets. We're treating our bodies like high octane vehicles. And then we're managing how much fuel our bodies need, because we need the right amount of fuel, right? We need enough fuel. We don't want to let the tank run on empty, but we also don't want to overfill it, right? We got to have the right amount of fuel. And that means for those of you too that have tried starvation diets in the past, that's not good for us either, right? The goal is not to eat as little as possible.
No.
And that's what so many of us think here too.
The goal is to nourish our body, to treat our body like a temple. And that doesn't mean starvation. So here's an interesting point from Tina. And it's so true, because she said, if you drink too much water, You flush your electrolytes. That's right. She said she's done that, and it's not good. So you have to start slow and build it up. That's why we say use the plant analogy, because you can't go from drinking no water to 100 ounces of water.
Exactly. Got to start where you're at.
Thanks, Tina, for that. Yeah.
Okay. Now somebody is saying, what if trauma is your major roadblock in eating healthy? How do you change the mindset of reaching for the easiest thing to eat? So this is a really great question. And, I want to say we are not mental health professionals, but we can absolutely give you our perspective from our experience of working with a lot of different women. Okay. So I just want to say that. But first of all, we talk a lot about learning to feel our emotions rather than feed our emotions. And this is a very, very difficult thing for us to do as women, because like food, I think almost every one of us is our go-to in times when we feel happy, in times when we feel sad, in times when we feel depressed, in times when we feel angry. And so what we're doing there, and especially with trauma, we've got all this like pent up emotion that we don't know how to deal with. And so we just eat, right? Instead of like processing what has happened. And you might need help from a professional to process what has happened in your life, right?
Absolutely. And so what Casey just said is so true. And just so you know, we have, we do in our community, we talk a lot about renewing our minds. We talk a lot about different issues, because I am very passionate about mental wellness. Because I'll just quickly say, my husband went on a journey. He has seen a lot of trauma, and we're not going to go into that whole story, but we're just going to say that in our community, we do talk a lot about mental fitness, I call it, because mental fitness incorporates every aspect of our overall health and well-being. So trauma can be a major roadblock, and we need to get to the root of the issue. And I often say we need to dig in the dirt. We need to go deep. And if you need personal one-on-one help, then that's a different story. But we do also have other things that we can help you with in our community. So thanks for that. But we really, truly do want you to find freedom with food, because when you go through those food issues and think about what is causing it and work through them, it will help you deal with that trauma.
And so the next time you feel like you're just like you're eating your emotions, and a lot of times we don't even recognize that's what we're doing. Instead of reaching for the food, think about how you're feeling. Feel how you're feeling. And if you need to cry, then cry. If you need to like go punch your pillow a few times because you're angry, then you have to learn how to release those feelings in a way other than feeding them.
So you have to be willing to go deep. You have to be willing to go through and work through why you're feeling that way.
Exactly.
Which isn't always easy.
No,
we know it isn't.
Exactly. And we're absolutely well said. We're not saying it's easy.
No.
But yeah, great question.
And thank you for that.
And I don't know if you've ever been through our food freedom workshop, but that's another really, really valuable workshop that we have where we talk all about emotional eating and learning to feel our emotions instead of feed them, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Great question. Fired. Woohoo! We're behind on the comments here, as you can see. Done and done. Woohoo! Fired. Fire my body.
It's about time for me to do it.
Awesome.
Yes. Fired. Wow.
Mine is fired. Seeking balance, learning to overcome deep-rooted tendency to eat only certain foods. Yes. You are so not alone in that one. We don't know who you are saying it, but you are not alone. More balance, however, struggling to get enough vegetables. Yeah, and that's another thing we hear.
We need variety in our life. We need variety of fruits and vegetables is the spice of life. So we need variety. You're
exactly.
Right.
And I love the title. When you think of fired, it means get rid of. Now we have to get rid of bad choices in our diet. Exactly. Well said.
Thank you.
Fired. I continue to learn every time I listen to you, ladies. Thank you. Thank you, Jane. I don't know about so full. We're so full of something. Thanks, Jane. Glad to Finally, oh, welcome, Deborah.
Oh, welcome. Yeah.
And bathroom, yeah, have to face our feelings and emotions instead of feed them. Trauma counseling helps, and so does the Bible. Yes. Thank you, Tammy. That's a great comment.
Yeah.
And Paula says getting emotional help is a sign of strength.
Amen.
Yes.
Paula. It really, really is. Going for help for mental wellness is not weak.
No.
It is
The opposite.
the opposite. It is very, very empowering. And when you can actually talk about it, it helps a lot of people heal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, we often say, Paula, this is kind of coming from what you said, we talk a lot about bringing it into the light.
Yeah.
Right? The more we bring all of those deep, dark things we feel into the light, we take the power back, because when things are hidden in the darkness, they have a lot of control over us.
They really do.
And you know what? That's why we talk so much about all of these things like the scale, because that's one, and all of the diets. And, you know, we carry so much inside, deep, dark secrets inside about how we feel about ourselves, about how much we weigh. That's like the deepest, darkest secret that some of us have.
Or the cheating that we do, the hiding and sneaking. We talk all about that in our food freedom
That's
workshop.
right. And we need to bring that into the light,
yeah.
because then we take the control back. We take the power back. And with God on our side, it is possible.
And someone's saying, can this video be replayed? Yes, it can. Yes.
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
be
Don't
able
worry.
to-
You can
yeah.
go back. Sorry.
Yeah.
So we've got, I don't know what OMAD is. Do you?
No.
Or fasting, because I'm not comfortable with food. Food controls me.
Yes, it's time to let go of the control that food has over us. And that's what we talk and teach so much in our food freedom workshop all about. Yes. But
Exactly.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. And when food controls us, like that's a hard way to live, you know. And I just want to say right now, we often talk about choosing your hard, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to make changes to our life, right? We're not saying that making these healthy changes to our life is easy, because it's not.
No.
They're simple changes, but they're not easy, because we have been programmed with so much bad information from all of the fad diet culture out there. You know, and when the food controls us, like that's really bad, right? And that just perpetuates the whole cycle. And, you know, we need to learn how to take the power back.
And we do that when we bring it into the light.
That's right.
When we actually give it to God, when we express it, we can do that in our community because it's a private community. So,
and Margaret says, I'm a trauma eater. It's like a drug to me. It makes me feel better. And
Yeah.
you know what, Margaret, that's another, what's the word? That's another big issue, right? Is that food, and especially like all of the junk food,
Yeah.
gives us a hit,
that's
right? A hit of dopamine that does actually make us feel better.
And sugar is more addictive than cocaine. So
Right.
you're right. It is a drug.
And it makes us feel better for like 30 seconds, maybe a little longer, but not much, because
No.
then right away we turn it around, and the devil turns it around on us, and we feel shame
And
for the
guilt.
fact that we did it again. We went and ate all this junk again, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're so right on that point, Margaret. And Tammy says you have to deal with the root of the problem with your triggers, and she's experienced trauma too. Yes, Tammy, thank you.
Thank you for all your comments. They're wonderful comments. And, you know, we know that we've kept you here for over an hour already. Thank you for being here with us. We don't want to rush away, but we know that some of you are working. Some of you have to go and make dinner. But we're going to be back tomorrow.
That's right. We've just got a few more questions
Yeah.
here. Nancy says, what is considered processed food? I like fried chicken breast. Tyson brand. Is that processed?
Well, I don't know that brand, and I'm going to say that it probably is processed, because there's so much. That's a whole big topic.
Yeah,
And I think
processed
we
food.
might have to talk about that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great
We would
question.
just say check the ingredients list. And if there's a whole pile of stuff on the ingredients list that you can't pronounce, it's probably not the greatest.
But it will be processed, because anything that's like deep fried already, if it's already battered and fried and now you just have to heat it up, it's been processed. Processing is anything that you do to alter a food.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you have an apple and you make applesauce, even if you make it yourself, it's still healthy applesauce that you made. You know the ingredients that are in it, but it's still being processed.
Mm-hmm.
So the closer to raw or whole, the better. But
But don't eat raw chicken.
No, that doesn't mean all processed food is bad. Like I just gave you an example of the apple. Homemade applesauce that you make and you know the ingredients, that's good. It's just that that particular thing is probably processed, and like Casey said, you need to check the ingredients. And that's a whole nother lesson.
Yeah, exactly. Just like drugs and alcohol, food can be an addiction. Exactly. I do fasting 16 hours. Is that a good thing? I'm 63.
Fasting can be intermittent fasting, or fasting can be very good. We don't do it all the time. And so, that is not what our program says to do, but we do incorporate some intermittent fasting.
Yeah. Exactly. Change doesn't happen overnight. Amen to that, Tina. And Linda says, I don't think I eat enough. Eating less will not solve the problem. No, it sure won't. Okay. So I think we're caught up here.
Okay, so let's just go through today's exercise, and then we want to tell you what tomorrow's about.
Yeah, exactly. And we have a verse to end off the day with. So you go ahead.
Okay, so right now, today's exercise, we really want you to do this, and we want you to find the time to do this, but go through your kitchen. Look at what you're using. Are you using high octane foods, or are you using the low grade fuels for your body to treat your body well? And tomorrow we'll ask you how you did.
Mm-hmm.
We want to know if you found high octane fuel in your household, or is it only the low grade? Okay, so what are some things that you can do to start right now?
Well, you can start thinking about like maybe integrating bananas back into your life. Can you imagine?
That's a great one. And maybe start upping your intake of water.
That's right.
Think about fiber.
Next time you go to the grocery store, start looking at the labels, right? See what's actually in the food that you're eating.
That's right.
So we also have, we like affirmations, because we believe that the more that we begin to tell ourselves the right stuff, the more that gets ingrained into our brains. And there's a whole bunch of science to that, that we're not going to get into, but the more that we tell ourselves the right things, the truth, because we are called to think about good things. We're called to think about things that are righteous, that are pure, that are truth, right?
That's right.
The more that we put that back in, then the more that starts to stick. And that's why we really like affirmations. And so the one we have for you today is this. And so we would recommend saying this to yourself like all day, every day. Okay. Post it on your mirror, post it on your fridge, put it on a sticky note in your wallet, right?
If you haven't got the worksheet, write this down right now.
I choose to treat my body like a temple, not a trash can.
I choose to treat my body like a temple, not a trash can.
Exactly. And we have one more question I just want to address here. So we are not to have cheat days. And so, you know what? We're smiling because that's one of our favorite topics. We say, and I think this is coming up tomorrow, so we won't talk too much about it. We like to say we do not cheat. We choose.
We never cheat.
Right? Because we have control over what we choose to put into our bodies. Right? We don't cheat. And you know what? That doesn't mean that you're never going to have chocolate again. That doesn't mean you're never going to have chips again. It doesn't mean you're never going to go through the drive-thru again. It means that you are consciously choosing what you are putting into your body.
You're taking ownership for what you put into your temple.
That's right. We really dislike the term cheat days, dislike the term cheating, because again, it has such a bad connotation to it, right? We feel guilt when we cheat.
If you think of cheating, I think of cheating on a test. I think of cheating somebody out of money. I think of we have gotten rid of that word cheat out of our food, out of our nutrition, because it's a very bad connotation. And so we're going to talk more about that tomorrow, but thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, so that's today's exercise for you to work on. It shouldn't take you too long, but it's, worth thinking about.
Yep.
We've got our verse for the day. We always like to end off with a scripture verse. And so today we chose 1 Corinthians 6:19 and 20. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Therefore, honor God with your bodies, right? You were bought at a price. You are worthy. You are worthwhile. You were worth the price that was paid. Think about that for a second.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And so we always say We treat our bodies like a temple, not a trash can. And that's from this scripture, right?
Yeah.
We want to honor God by treating our bodies like a temple.
And God wants us to enjoy our food. He gives us that for pleasure. So let's not abuse it.
Exactly. Okay. And so before we wrap up today, here's what's coming up for you tomorrow. Okay. Today, we talked about how to actually fire your diet, right? Which means that we need to be putting those high octane fuels into our bodies. We need to stop with all of these crazy diets where we're restricting, where we're punishing ourselves, where deprivation. What were some of those other comments?
Yeah.
Where we're like
starvation.
Yeah. Where
rabbit food, only salad, bird seed.
Yeah. Where you think about it and you despise the rest of your life because you think you're just always going to have to be on a diet.
It was starting from a negative point because every single thing about the diet was negative.
Yep, exactly. So today we fired our diets, right?
You fired yours. You put it in the chat.
Exactly. And so you're probably wondering now, okay, so now I fired my diet. Well, now what?
Yeah.
How am I ever going to lose weight without being on a diet?
Some of you might be kind of petrified, like thinking, well, but I want to lose weight. I fired my diet. So now what?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and that's what we're going to cover tomorrow.
That's right.
Because it is possible.
It is possible. It is possible to shed the weight. And I like to say one potato at a time.
Exactly.
And so tomorrow, you don't want to miss this. We are going to show you what to do next.
Exactly. We're going to show you how to actually lose weight without being on a diet. And you know what? I want to leave you with this today. Maybe for the first time ever in your life, you're going to be able to fire your diet and lose the weight once and for all.
Woo!
Think about this. You only have to lose the weight one time. You don't have to do it forever and ever and ever the rest of your life on yo-yo diets.
Yeah,
we're done with that here.
You're done with the yo-yo dieting. You're done with the fad diets. You're done with that media culture that's been feeding you lies. You are done with that. You fired your diet.
Amen. Woo! So I think that's all for us for today. We have kept you longer than we intended, but we often tend to get a little, especially me, I can get really long-winded. So anyways,
it's been great. We're so glad for all your comments. We're glad that you're here with us for this masterclass, Fire Your Diet Masterclass, and we have a lot more to share with you tomorrow.
Exactly. So we're really excited. Same time, same place tomorrow. And thank you for being so willing to teach us how to break free. You are so welcome. You know what? It is our hearts and our mission is to help as many women as we possibly can with that, because our lives have been transformed because we have been able to do that ourselves. And we know that it's possible for each and every one of you to do.
If you don't believe in yourself today, let us believe in you, because we do truly believe it is possible for you. With God in the journey, it is possible.
Amen. And with that, we will see you all tomorrow, all you beautiful ladies.
Same time.